And Mary, while you're looking at Afrikaans, what about other Afrikaans words? Because surely English has a lot coming from Afrikaans.
English has quite a lot coming from Afrikaans. We look at the word veld. Now, veld is a definite Afrikaans word. Words like braai and boerewors. And I'm sure it's getting warmer now, Janet, and boys and girls. So now it means that we have more braais and we go and buy more boerewors from the butchery. We also like the word biltong. So biltong is a very, very Afrikaans word. And we have used this word and forever. And it's been an accepted word in English. You don't even have to put it in inverted commas or italics. We also then look at words, French words. And I'd like to talk about words like cul-de-sac, restaurant, tableau, and plateau. So those are all borrowed words. I'd like you to look at the spelling. If we look at the word in the dictionary, we see the word cul-de-sac. It's a noun. And we can see there's also plural cul-de-sac. And the cul-de-sac is a street with an opening at one end only, or it's a dead end. Now, it doesn't show the origin of the word, but we do accept it that it is from French origin.
And if we look at the word just above it, Mary, there's another French word. We've got cuisine.
Yes, cuisine. There. And we can also see, you can see the word in brackets. It's how you pronounce the word cuisine. And it's a noun. And the meaning of the word cuisine is a style of cooking. Now, Janet, that's also a French origin.
So when you're worrying about spelling, or when you're looking at English spelling, if you look at those two words, you can see that, yes, the spelling is possibly not something that you'd normally expect, but you are looking at words that are coming out of French, and therefore they have an influence of the French spelling in them. And Mary, you also talked about tableau and plateau.
Tableau and plateau. Also, I'd like to, when you're done with it, can we go back to restaurant as well? Because I see that many learners don't know where to put the A and the U.
Yes, there's tableau. I found tableau.
Yes, and it says how you, it tells you how to pronounce the word tableau.
But look at this funny plural.
Yes.
And again, why is there a funny plural? Because it's a French plural, and they tell you again how to say it.
Yes.
Now, this is not the usual way of writing the pronunciation guide. So this is the South African Oxford School Dictionary, and they're giving you their way of telling you how to pronounce it. In other dictionaries, especially adult dictionaries, they do it differently. If we get a chance, we'll look at that. Otherwise, you need to look at it for yourself. You wanted to go to restaurant.
To restaurant, yes. We find that many of the learners either put the U before the A, and they put an E under restaurant. So that's a problem we have. Look at the meaning of the word restaurant. We can see there, restaurant. It's a noun, and it's a place where you buy a meal or eat a meal. It obviously does not have the origin of the word as well. So please check your spelling, learn that spelling. Remember in our previous lesson, Janet told us to go over, if you make an error with the A and the U, go over your A, go over your U, because then it sticks.
Right.
Now remember that all the words we have been doing so far has been used in a formal context. I'd like to refer to something on an informal context, and that's the word lekker. It comes from an Afrikaans origin, and we're going to look at the meaning of the word in the dictionary. Lekker is an adjective, and it's used informally, and the meaning of the word means good or pleasant. Now remember that when you use the word lekker in an essay, you need to have it in inverted commas because it's an informal word. If you're not going to use lekker, I would prefer that you use the word good or pleasant.
Yes, I would say that if you're going to use it, rather than using inverted commas, if it fits in, you've got to Jommy saying it's a lekker man, then that's absolutely fine. And you don't have to put it in inverted commas, only if you say some people use the word and then you're quoting it. If it's part of what you're doing and it fits in an informal context, then it's absolutely fine, use it. And then Mary, earlier you were talking about words that we get from Zulu, and I thought, what about Ubuntu? Isn't that a word that you like?
Yes, Ubuntu is a very special meaning to me, because Ubuntu, if we look at the meaning of the word there, we will see how to use Ubuntu and what the meaning is. And it has a special, it actually gives me a warm feeling when I hear the word Ubuntu. Now, in the dictionary there, Ubuntu is a noun, and it means generosity and compassion. Ubuntu is our humaneness, our ability to care. Now, if you look at the word Ubuntu there, we can see that Ubuntu should go around for everybody. We should have Ubuntu in our hearts all the time. Especially people who are struggling, who have difficulties, you need to show your Ubuntu. You need to show your ability to care.
When we're talking about words, we need to talk about the fact that words change meaning with time. And you might read a text where the word is one you recognize. Yeah, I know that word. But in fact, from the context, you will realize that the word has shifted meaning. So I've got an example here. This is from Macbeth. And he is talking to himself. And he's talking about killing Duncan. And he says, if it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence, and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and the end-all here, but here upon this bank and shoal of time, we'd jump the life to come. Now, looking at that, you say, yeah, I know the word jump. That's what I do in the playground. That's what I do when I'm playing sport. But you should be able to recognize that that word cannot mean leap up and down. It has to have a different meaning. Now, if you suspect that a word has shifted meaning, you then need to go to a dictionary which will show you this is what the word meant when it first came into the language, this is how it has shifted meaning, and sometimes it's gone out of the language, or sometimes it still exists with a different meaning. So I would suggest that you go to the Oxford, and either to the complete Oxford, which you can get in a very condensed form, or into the Oxford that has 2 volumes. And you're looking now for jump, and you're now looking around the time of Macbeth. So you're looking around 1600, what did jump mean? And it meant to risk. So Macbeth is saying, I'll risk being condemned to hell by God if I could get away with it now. So the only reason you'd know that is either you're an English teacher and you've looked it up, or you suspect and you see that this is what's happened. So if you do suspect it, especially with texts coming out of 1600, 1700, 1500, and you feel, I know this word, but it's not the meaning I know, then go to that kind of dictionary.